guys, it's Knockout21. How are y'all doing? Okay, this is a quick review of Street Fighter 03 on the Sega Saturn. It's going to be a relatively short video. I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions about this version of Street Fighter Alpha 3 or 03, whatever it may be. And people claim that this is like the best home port of this game. I could see why. I'm not going to argue. It has all the modes that were available on the PlayStation version, minus the Pocket Fighter version, but still it does have a lot of it in there. But I gotta point something out, guys. I gotta point something out. When I first started playing this game, I was met with this screen right here. Basically, it's a warning telling me I need the RAM expansion cart, and I was freaking out. I thought my action replay messed up until I tried it with some other games, and I saw that it was working perfectly, so it got me a little confused. Anyway, the solution to this, if you were greeted with that screen, is just to reset the Saturn. Don't turn it on and off. No, just reset the Saturn, and it will run normally. Just go through the paces, and as you can see here, the game will start running. However, there is something else I have to tell you guys. If the game starts to run normally without the RAM expansion warning, you are gonna probably end up with this that you see right here. Yeah, I am fighting a really messed up, jarbled Adon. This was me in the middle of a stream, and as interesting as it was, it is pretty annoying. It got annoying after a while. So yeah, I read on the internet sometimes the cartridge isn't well connected or whatnot. I figure it's just a glitch having to do with the action replay, but just a little bit of warning. Now, I'm using an action replay with an American Saturn, and I'm guessing because it's like that I'm sometimes see these things. But this only happens if I don't get the 4 megabyte expansion warning. If I get it and I reset it, everything's fine. However, if I don't get that message and I start playing the game normally, then yeah, I end up with situations like this. Now, for the most part, this version is pretty much the same as the PlayStation version. The only difference is that there's more frames of animation, and Guile and Evil Rio already unlocked. The same thing goes for the final and dramatic battle modes. Those are unlocked too, so you don't really have to go through the world tour to unlock those features or those modes. My main gripe though is not having the ability to come across Guile, T-Hawk, Fei Long, and DJ in arcade mode. No, you'll never come across these guys when playing that mode, which is a little disappointing considering that in the Dreamcast and PlayStation portable versions, you come across those guys. You actually fight them on your way towards Bison in that mode. But for some reason, they're not available to fight against unless you do like a weird dramatic battle kind of thing. You come across them in that mode, but not for some reason not in arcade mode, which is not game breaking. It's still a good mode to play to practice your stuff, but it's a little disappointing not fighting these guys during regular playthroughs.
I'm impressed.
You win! Beat 'em up, guys! Clear or die!
Okay, I'm not gonna delve too much into the world tour. As you guys know, It's a mode where it allows you to go around the world, fight against various opponents with different attributes and stats, allowing you to unlock things for your character. My main issue is what you see here. Yes, you see me fight two of the same Chun-Lis. The reason why is because this particular campaign was taken directly from the PlayStation version. So that's right, the Saturn doesn't even have its own custom campaign or anything. It's basically a copy and paste of what was already done on the PlayStation, which is kind of disheartening considering the fact that with all the extra RAM, the Saturn could have definitely done like a much more unique World Tour campaign. Especially like what you see here going on right now. I'm fighting Blanca and Dan at the same time. Something that's not possible on a PlayStation. And the fact that Capcom didn't take the extra time to actually implement something like this, it's a little disheartening. Not game breaking, not nothing too bad, but I would say it's a little lazy on their part.
You win! It all depends on your skill. Go for broke. You win!
Gameplay for the most part is the same as any other port. I'm not going to get way too into it because I kind of already said this in the PSP review, but basically it's fast, frantic, and fun. It's Street Fighter through and through. The various gameplay modes and the isms definitely leave a lot to be mastered, so if you spend enough time on this, you're going to find a lot of stuff to learn and a lot of content. Basically, it's a very deep fighting game with hours and hours of replay value. Playing this on a Saturn's native control pad fits perfectly with this game. With its 6 face buttons, it's much more comfortable than what was on the PSP and a hell of a lot better than what was on the Dreamcast. With that said, I have to make a small confession. Most of the gameplay you're looking at right now was done using the Wingman Converter SD. So yeah, not really using too much the Saturn pad here, but with the Wingman SD, playing this game is basically arcade perfect. That's not to say that the Saturn pad, failed me or anything. It's just that I am more comfortable with arcade sticks. With that said, if you play this with the Saturn pad, you're still going to have a lot of great times, a much more comfortable control, and a lot easier times pulling off your combos and moves. Now, graphics in this game look as good as any other port. The colors really pop out. There's a lot of frames of animation, and the special effects are top notch. It's good. It's good. You cannot mess up the CPS2 sprites. These sprites definitely stand the test of time. Now, what a lot of people like to compare is how the visuals between this version and the Dreamcast version. As you can see here, the Dreamcast version's on the left, the Saturn version's on the right, and both versions right now that you're watching on screen are running RGB. However, on the Dreamcast it's at 480p, and on the Saturn it's at 240p. The problem with the Dreamcast version is that there is no 240p mode through RGB, and because of this, the sprites are square. It loses its pixel perfect image that was available in the arcade, and that affects people, how people react to hitboxes with timing and things of that nature. So anyone that plays this in arcade, it's gonna it's gonna notice it. However, on the Saturn, even though the sprites or the screen looks a little wide, everything's pixel perfect. The resolution is much closer to that of the arcade, and that's why a lot of arcade goers prefer the Saturn version over the Dreamcast. So it took me a while to realize this. I really thought people were nitpicking, but there is a definite reason why arcade goers prefer the Saturn version over the Dreamcast version. And in that matter, I'm pretty sure they prefer the Saturn version over the PSP version too. But I'm not about to splice in PSP footage just to show you guys the difference between the two. The sound quality of this game, well, it's excellent. The voices are crisp and clear. However, I heard that the volume is a little lower here than it is in other ports, but once you start playing, you don't even notice it. Music, well, it's the same kind of music that is available on every other platform, so I can't really say too much about it. Anything I said about it on the PSP review, you could apply it here. I wish they would have stuck with a range track instead of like new music, but I don't hate the new music. I just would have preferred like an arranged track similar to what was available on Street Fighter Alpha 2. But for what it is, it's pretty good, and I'm okay with it. And there you have it, guys. Street Fighter 03, aka Alpha 3 on the Sega Saturn. I gotta give this game an A-. Now, it's a really solid port. There's a lot of different modes, different play styles. You can have a lot of fun with this game. The problem is, though, it's just a straight port from the PlayStation version. With the Saturn's capabilities, it could have been so much more, but Capcom got kind of lazy and decided just to take what they already had and move it over. And that's a little disappointing. I already said this in the video, but that's a little disappointing, and I wish they could have done a little bit more with this port. But still, it's a solid game, and I definitely recommend it to like any Saturn fan. But when it comes to actually buying this game, this thing fetches for over $200. Yes, over $200. I will only recommend this port if you're like a hardcore arcade perfectionist type that wants that exact pixel kind of look that you need for your hitboxes and whatnot. So yeah, if you're more casual or just want to play the game for the hell of it, there are a variety of options. You got the Alpha Anthology, you got it on the Dreamcast, you got it on the PlayStation. Hell, you can even buy it on the PSP and play it by the PlayStation TV. So you got your options there. But if you're a little bit more on the hardcore side, and you don't want to go out looking for like a CPS2 unit or a Naomi unit, then yeah, I guess the Saturn version could probably suit your needs. Now, before I go, I'm gonna basically say that I played this. I already said this in the video, but I played this using an action replay on an American Saturn, and that's why I got glitches like that. I was reading around, and apparently this is an uncommon thing to happen, but it does happen from time to time. So your experience is probably different from what I experienced. And if you're using a Japanese Saturn with a 4 megabyte RAM card, then you're probably don't have to worry about a thing. Anyway, this was Knockout 21. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And like always, have a good one. Take care, guys.